So, welcome to Seek and Read the Book of the Lord. Now, there's a one friend who asked this question about this. His name is Yashar Israel. Shout out, shout out to you. And then his question is this: why Lot's daughters sleep with him? Or in other words, why Lot's daughters have sex with him and let Lot's their father drunk with wine. So let's read first the book of Genesis 19, verse 30 to 38. Let's read. It says is this. In King James Version, and Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his two daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his two daughters. And the firstborn said unto younger, the older sister said to younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all in the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. So they can preserve their family line, right? And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went and lay with her father, and he perceived, not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go you in, and lie down with him, that we may preserve a seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger she also bare a son, and called his name Benami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. So what is this strange thing in the Bible that the father sleep with his two daughters, and those two daughters have sexual intercourse with their father, and that's it's kind of weird, it's kind of strange. But here's the thing: the truth shall prevail, and the truth shall be revealed. And this truth in the book of Genesis is is not too it's not too complicated, because in the day of in the day of the book of Genesis, in their times, in the ancient times, in the age of old times, with of course also Abraham. In Genesis 20 verse 12, let's read. And yet in verse 11, let's read. And Abraham said, Because I thought surely the fear of God is not this in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. So also a weird thing about Abraham. In our time, this is our stepsister. Okay. Abraham's sister Sarai is actually his sister in his father's side, but not of mother's side, but still flesh, bones, and blood. They have similarities, links about DNA. They are sisters and brothers in their father's side. And that's kind of strange about the history and story of Abraham, that Sarah, his sister in father's side, is actually became his wife. And why in book of Genesis that is a very controversial thing, because in our time that is not appropriate, right? That is kind of weird, that is kind of strange. And in some points kind of look like nasty, like gross, right? You know what I mean? But actually, in the book of Genesis, that is not a big deal, because in the book of Genesis, in that time, people are they don't have any commandment about following such things, like don't marry your daughter, don't marry your like that, because in the book of Genesis, in in Genesis in the book of Genesis 1, that God wants humans to spread, to multiply, right? So God wants us to multiply. Actually, in the book of Genesis, God wants people to multiply, because people are not too big, not too multiple, right? Not too, because they are just two, three, four, and times multiply. But here's the thing. This is the very answer to that question, that why Lot's daughter sleep with him, and also why Abraham marry his own sister in his father's side. So let's read the book of Leviticus verse 18. This is the very answer to that question, because remember, Torah is a compilation of stories, right? So let's read in Leviticus 18. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, let's read. This is the Tanakh. I remember reading the Tanakh now. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the Israelite people and say to them, I, the Lord, am your God. You shall not copy the practices of the land of Egypt, where you dwelt, or of the land of Canaan, to which I am taking you, nor shall you follow their laws. My rules alone shall you observe, and faithfully follow my laws. I, the Lord, am your God. You shall keep my laws and my rules, by the pursuit of which man shall live. I am the Lord. None of you shall come near anyone of his own flesh to uncover nakedness. I am the Lord. Your father's nakedness, that is the nakedness of your mother, you shall not uncover. She is your mother. You shall not uncover her nakedness. Do not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife. It is the it is the nakedness of your father, the nakedness of your sister, your father's daughter on your mother's, or your mother's, whether born into the household or outside. Do not uncover their nakedness. So you get the point. The nakedness of your son's daughter, or of your daughter's daughter, do not uncover their nakedness, for the nakedness is yours. The nakedness of your father's wife's daughter, who has born into your father's household, she is your sister. Do not uncover her nakedness, and so on and so forth. If you continue that verse, you can read the book of the Lord. And that remember that in the book of Leviticus and in the book of Exodus, that the Ten Commandments just arrived. In the book of Genesis, there's no Ten Commandments, and there's no any commandments about nakedness, about marrying someone. Okay, there's no such thing like that. But when the Torah, or the law, comes to the Jewish people, God taught Moses to command Jewish people to 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 have a very clean marriage, okay, to have a very clean nakedness and pure sexual intercourse. And also, don't have sex with animals, don't have sex with your sisters, with your father's or mother's sides. So when Torah comes, Abraham was Abraham was not guilty about what he just did about he marrying his own sister Sarah, but rather he is not under the Torah of Moses. Remember, he is not under the Torah of Moses or the law of Moses. But that is a fact that when the Torah comes through Moses, the law about nakedness arrive. So don't marry or don't have sex with your father. That is very wicked in the time of the Torah of Moses. And don't have sex with your mother, your father, because in Leviticus 18 that is a very important thing, okay? But in the time of Abraham and Lot, that is not very big deal because in that time God said multiply, okay? So they can preserve their seed or their family line. So I hope brother Yashar Israel, you understand what I'm talking about here, that in Malachi 4:4 that Jewish people, the Israelites people should should follow the commandments of the law of Moses in Horeb, the mountain, the Mount Sinai. So I hope I have answered your question, brother Yashar Israel, and Shalom, and some people who watch this video can ask questions, and yeah, peace be upon you. Thank you for watching.